The unofficial start to summer means a big boom for Ohio tourism and beyond.
Our state is experiencing a great economic boom right now. We have all sorts of companies coming and locating here in Ohio, but they need workforce. And so we really see it as part of our role to help visitors picture a life here.
Just ahead, a deep dive into the state's strategy to turn visitors into residents. Plus, the Columbus Zoo is looking to become an overnight destination. The big tourism project on the table this week, and how this could spark new growth for Delaware County. And celebrating 150 years of the North Market, what is new with a 32-story skyscraper now under construction, and how this will soon change the Columbus skyline. Central Ohio is certainly booming. We all see it, and we all can certainly feel it. So here's what we uncovered this week in Boomtown. We are getting our first look inside the new massive terminal at John Glenn Columbus International Airport. The airport this week posted to social media showing both the progress and the digital renderings of the finished product. Now, CMH says the new terminal will meet rising demand here in Columbus and is being built around a central market concept that's designed to make it easier for you to get from your car to your gate in just minutes. And if all goes according to plan, you'll be able to catch a flight from the new terminal in 2029. Thanks so much for joining us for This Week in Boomtown. I'm Angela Ann. Let's turn to the headlines this week and a major announcement from a hometown favorite. Wendy's announcing a new president and CEO this week, Bob Wright. He was recently the head of Potbelly's, and if his name sounds familiar, it should. Wright spent 15 years with Wendy's as a former executive. And in a statement, the Wendy's board said it is confident Wright will guide the company into its next chapter of growth. Well, the city of Dublin just welcomed the largest American Chinese dining concept in the U.S., Panda Express, opening its first franchise there. And store owners say this was an ideal location based on proximity to a growing region and being able to provide new jobs. The traditional Chinese architecture is fitting as we round out Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And a celebration at Safelight this month for its newly renovated Columbus home office. There's a new glass bridge connecting the two campus buildings near I-270 on the north side of Columbus. Safelight says this $19 million renovation confirms its long-term reinvestment in Columbus and a return to the office mentality. This has been a fixture in Central Ohio since 1989. And Ohio is going to lead the way with Honda's worldwide manufacturing. The automaker recently announced a new next-generation hybrid sedan prototype. Take a look there, along with the new Acura hybrid. News out of Japan earlier this month shows Honda is shifting away from all electric vehicles and plans to increase the hybrid production at both the Marysville and the East Liberty facilities.
A lot of manufacturing businesses in the Hocking Hills, so tourism is really the main draw for employment.
Now, more than 100 destinations in the Buckeye State recently took part in Ohio Tourism Day. Really a day for people to see the beautiful and interesting sights our state has to offer. But it's also big business. In 2024, Tourism Ohio says visitors spent $57 billion. That spending driven by 242 million visits. And here's what's huge, $4.7 billion that it generated in the state and local taxes. So let me say that again, $4.7 billion. We're so glad to invite Ohio's Tourism Director, Sarah Wickham, to This Week in Boomtown. Let's talk about that. I mean, those numbers, nothing to shy about there.
Absolutely. It's staggering, really. Yeah. And the number one reason people come to Ohio is to visit friends and relatives, which makes sense, right? We have 11.7 million Ohioans for them to come and visit. So it really draws folks in. in and helps them to get out and explore the state.
But then what people don't realize is there is really so much to see. We, of course, have Columbus Zoo, but there are other zoos. There are museums. There's lodging. There's places to hike, day trips. I mean, that list goes on and on.
Absolutely. So we have things to see and do in every one of Ohio's 88 counties. And what's really special about Ohio is that we're a four-season destination. You don't just have to come and visit in the summer. There's things to do all year round. We also offer a really great value for our travelers. It's easy to get to Ohio. It's easy to get around Ohio. And there are lots of destinations and attractions that are free to visit. So if, for example, you're going to a museum or a show, if that's your anchor, you can really add on a ton of experiences to help build satisfaction and to get the most value out of your trip.
That value is so important, especially as we see a lot of families are trying to figure out how to make ends meet. And so when you say it's a free museum, you got a family of four, it's a perfect day trip for
Absolutely.
anything. Sarah, let's talk about Tourism Ohio overall. You know, the big picture, what do you guys do from a state level that you feel trickles down then to the local city, even villages level?
Yeah, so our job really at Tourism Ohio is to help people see Ohio as a relevant destination for them. So we know that those Ohioans that live within our state are really well educated about all of the experiences available to them here, but outside residents aren't. So we know that we have an education problem in our surrounding markets. So we really work hard to educate consumers about the variety of options for them here in the state. We also work to expose them to those messages at exactly the right time. We know that the planning cycle for a trip to Ohio is between 2 weeks and 2 months. So that gives us like a really tight timeline to reach consumers and help them convert into travelers. We also know that emotional connection is so important. People don't travel because of a spreadsheet. They travel because they're seeking something, whether they're seeking to get away or to disconnect, you know, Amish country or adventure at one of our amusement parks. We know that that emotional connection is so important, and so we try to make that connection with travelers.
I love that you talked about that strategy, because I love it when I have to travel outside of the state. I see Ohio commercials in other states. I don't like seeing other state commercials here in Columbus.
Understandable.
But how do you then compete with those other states that are trying to attract our visitors, our residents, to visit outside?
Yeah, so it's a tough challenge, right? Everyone is trying to get the same travelers into their states. And really for us, it's about relevancy. We want folks to see themselves here in Ohio. That emotional connection is so important. And to then, once we get them here, they love it. Once they're here, they come back. 90% of travelers always say that they had a great vacation here, that they are likely to recommend it to friends and family, and that they're likely to come back in 12 months.
Well, and I think that speaks to your messaging, the branding, Ohio, the heart of it all. Like, you really speak about connecting with the heart, that emotion that wants to bring people back. Is there something bigger that Tourism Ohio wants to do, where it's like, come visit, come stay, and maybe come move and live here?
Absolutely. You know, our state is experiencing a great economic boom right now. We have all sorts of companies coming and locating here in Ohio, but they need workforce. And so we really see it as part of our role to help visitors picture a life here. We know that folks want to be close to things. They want their dollars to go further. They want that out of a life. And we think that we can help tell that story at Tourism Ohio.
Well, I think that's great, because obviously, as we talk about it in Boomtown, there is massive growth, but workforce is one of them. So to bring more workers here who want to be in this state makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
I love some of the unique things, and we'll end it with this, that you guys come up with. The pizza trail, the ice cream trail.
Yes.
How do you come up with these unique ideas, and what's coming down the pike?
So we just released a free a trail with public golf courses.
Oh my gosh.
There are hundreds of them in the state, and so that was really fun. You know, last year we did the corn maze trail, and we had tons of destinations step up with corn mazes. That's really featuring the agritourism, getting folks out of those big cities. So we're really just trying to tell the whole story and looking for unique options that aren't available in other states.
All right, Sarah Wickham, thank you so much for joining us here on This Week in Boomtown. So there you have it. As you start your summer season, just know that you don't have to go far to visit anywhere nice. You just stay right here in the state of Ohio. A one-day trip, that's all it takes. Now to housing and helping people get into permanent housing. Columbus City Council voted this week to give $13 million to the Community Shelter Board. The agency helps anyone experiencing or at risk of homelessness in Franklin County.
But the reality is that it is going to take multiple solutions, and housing is one of them. But we also have to think about what does it mean to have people-centered policy in our response to homelessness, and particularly those who are living on the land.
The Shelter Board's recent point-in-time count, which is a snapshot of how many people are living without shelter in the moment, shows a 43% increase since last year in Franklin County. Latitude 525, once a symbol of Central Ohio's housing challenges, but this week it is getting a new start. Demolition began at the apartment towers this week, more than 2 years after pipes burst and code violations forced hundreds of residents out of their homes. The site, also known as Sawyer Towers, will now be redeveloped into new affordable housing with plans for up to 387 units. Well, we know housing is certainly a challenge in any boomtown, but especially in Central Ohio, with more people moving here and homes not being built fast enough. That challenge could get a little tricky in Licking County. This week, the council in Heath tabled a vote to bring 500 new homes to the city. Leaders say the move would have put major pressure on the Granville Exempted Village School District, where classrooms are already stretched. Developers say it has donated more than 14 acres of land for a possible new school. But school leaders say the cost to build could fall on taxpayers through a future levy.
We're looking at almost a $2,000 per taxpayer increase related to the number of students involved in that project, just from an operational standpoint. That is not considering the cost of a building.
We'll certainly keep you posted on what happens with that debate. Meantime, here is a look at housing that is on the way or already here in Central Ohio. As communities across Central Ohio look for new ways to grow tourism, Powell is finding a way to get visitors to stay longer and spend a little more. City Council this week unanimously approved expanded hours for its Dora district, now running 7 days a week. City leaders say the designated outdoor refreshment area has already proven to boost foot traffic, attracting more visitors from destinations like Polaris and the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium. Well, that's not the only new tourism push happening near the zoo. Take a look. This week, we learned it wants to build a new hotel featuring animal-themed rooms, balconies overlooking the zoo, and even an indoor water slide. As Doug Petcast shows us, supporters believe the project could bring more growth for nearby businesses.
The plan is in the very early stages, but if it all goes through, a brand new hotel could be standing here in this corner of the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium's parking lot near Zoombezi Bay Water Park within the next 4 years. And nearby businesses we talked to hope it all goes through.
People come in not knowing what they want, and they leave with bags full of beautiful gifts.
Laura Coleman opened Dolce Vita Baby Boutique in Shawnee Hills 3 years ago.
We are definitely growing, but we could always be bigger.
One thing that could help that growth is a potential hotel just across the bridge at Columbus Zoo and Aquarium.
That would be larger than life for us, to have people that are coming to the zoo to come to this plaza, to come to this store.
This aerial photo from the zoo's public request for qualifications from potential developers shows the proposed location in the zoo's parking lot. A zoo spokesperson says right now the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium is looking to identify the right development partner to build a signature hotel experience as part of their long-term vision for the future of the zoo, and it would be privately funded by the developer. According to the request for qualifications, the upper scale hotel would be between $32 and $45 million and 130 rooms, and would fit the zoo's brand and mission. The nearby city of Powell supports the project.
Having more hotel rooms within the vicinity will obviously bring more foot traffic into our community and let the businesses that we've attracted in prosper.
Back in Shawnee Hills, Laura Coleman feels the same way.
We just need a reason for people that are here to stay here for a little while and visit Shawnee Hills.
The deadline for developers to submit their qualifications is this Friday. Once the zoo selects a developer, a spokesperson tells me it will take 3 to 3.5 years for the planning and design as well as the construction before the hotel can open on this site. In Delaware County, Doug Petcash, 10 TV News.
Doug, thank you. Now, for 150 years, the North Market, this has been a fixture just north of downtown Columbus. And now the highly anticipated expansion will forever change the capital city skyline. I'm going to walk out a little bit so you can see more of this. The massive merchant building expansion is 3 years in with construction and could be done by later this year. As 10 TV's Libby Cathy shares, leaders say the project is more than preserving history. It's really positioning the North Markets for Columbus's next era of growth.
Every year, this is my official kickoff to the summer, so summer has begun.
Signature aprons, light bites, live music, and packed sidewalks as hundreds gathered Friday for the North Market's annual Apron Gala.
It is just such a celebration of community and these amazing vendors.
But this year's celebration carrying extra meaning, marking 150 years of the now iconic Columbus landmark.
The aprons may be taking the show, but honestly, it's about 150 years of celebration for the North Market.
It's huge. It's huge. You can tell the vendors have kind of stepped it up inside.
While the party celebrates the market's past, its future is also taking shape.
This is our 150th birthday. We opened in 1876, always have been on this property.
The market has survived fire, rebuilding, and decades of change downtown. Rick Harrison Wolf says it's become a reflection of how much Columbus has grown.
This is called North Market. In 1876, this was the north side of town.
Now the next chapter of that history is under construction.
At the end of this year, that thing, you'll see the next iteration of the market with an expansion and the merchant building next to us.
The 15,000 square foot market expansion will add more merchant space, a bar, and a new event space.
So the reason that we did this was for perpetuity, make sure the market was here forever. We're the last of 4 original public markets in Columbus. We're the last one standing.
Residents and vendors alike eager for what's next.
It's going to make such a big difference down here, I think, and bring folks into the downtown area that have never experienced it. So I'm excited.
It's nice to see the growth.
They've been around for 150 years. I hope they're around for 150 more.
Finally, we end with this. Now is your chance to own the world's largest basket. This is right there in Newark. If you've been on I-70, you surely have seen this. It is the Longaberger Basket Building, built back in 1997. Once the headquarters for, of course, the Longaberger Company, which was the symbol of an Ohio company that became a billion-dollar business. The basket has been on and off the market for years. Now it's listed again for $8.5 million. So if you're thinking about maybe making an offer for this landmark, you'll get more than 21 acres of land and a basket that's 180,000 square feet. The real question is, what are you going to put into it? I can see a lot of closets for Angela. And if you have any questions that you'd like to share your thoughts with us, just text us 614-460-3345. We want to hear about the challenges and the solutions. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. You can always drop a question right there in the comments section as well. Thanks so much for watching This Week in Boomtown. I'm Angela Ann. We'll see you again next week.